We are live now.
A very good evening to all the members who have registered for the session. Myself, CA Rekha Umashi, Regional Council Member, SIRC. I take immense privilege in welcoming you all for this session on tax audit using technology. So this is a tax audit season. I think most of you will be busy in either reporting or filing and even documentation. So I think this is the right time we have come up with this particular topic. And I think firstly, I should thank our faculty for the day. It is none other than Rivachan sir, especially for sparing his valuable time amidst this tax audit season. So whenever we tell about technology, basically it deals with a lot of automation. So whenever we are bringing technology into any arena, it brings about a lot of automation. So many repetitive tasks you can do, especially automate with technology. So even with respect to audit trail or documentation, whichever aspect you take, it brings in a lot of comfort. So we have a faculty today who is, you can say he's basically a tech savvy. I can say he's a tech savvy more than a CA. I think whenever I see sir, I remember Excel. I remember most of the technology aspect linked to DC sir. So Dugachan sir, popularly known as DC sir. Sir is a practicing chartered accountant in Madurai. He has almost 2 decades of experience. Sir also has cleared his higher diploma in software engineering as well as a diploma in information system audit from ICAI. He has also undergone or completed the course in forensic accounting and fraud detection by ICAI. He's also cleared his intermediate examination conducted by the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. And since I said tech savvy, I think I should be touching upon a few points which sir has given a phenomenal contribution. Being a tech savvy, sir has been very, very instrumental in preparing few in-house softwares. And he has also prepared a template in the Jain VAT audit in Excel, when VAT audit was in practice. And he has always given keen interest in the study of capital markets and also specializes in derivatives. And he was also an active participant of Jain Seva, an organization which is basically helping those in need. And he has authored a book on Excel tips covering MS Excel for professionals. Now, to tell about this, you may be interested about sir. We know sir about as a chairman of SIRC. So I think the leadership journey not just began with the SIRC. Long back it began with the Madurai branch of ICAI. He started as a committee member, then became the SICASA chairman, vice chairman, then came up to the position of chairman, and then he contested in the regional council. And he has been serving 2 terms in the council and holding 3 different positions of secretary, vice chairman, and chairman. And one very unique thing to tell us, it was during his chairmanship, ICAI, Southern India Regional Council got the Best Regional Council Award. And that was again after a gap of 10 years. And the first ever virtual regional conference, and thanks to COVID sir again. So it was held during the chairmanship of DC sir, and it was inaugurated by none other than our finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, and we had speakers, very, very phenomenal speakers, including Harish Salve, Dinesh sir, taking different aspects and different topics. So he is also the ex officio of various branches, including Madurai, Shivagashri, Pondicherry, and Trichy. And he also headed the committees in the ICAI, including the Information Technology Digital Transformation Committee, the Public Relations Committee, Committee for Members in Practice, and Continuing Education Committee. And he has been nominated to the Technology Initiative Committee of Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, which is a very, very prestigious institution, and also a Regional Direct Taxes Advisory Committee and Information Technology Committee of the Association of Chartered Accountants. So I think we are much, much privileged to have you here, sir, especially to take us through this much needed topic of the hour. We welcome you, sir. The session is all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Rekha. In fact, she has rightfully touched all the chords on technology as to how fast we can do things and how to avoid those repetitive things to save time. And one more coincidental observation that during my tenure in regional council, I was heading this information technology committee for all the years. And Rekha is the one who is now succeeding it after that, actually. And I must tell that the same kind of enthusiasm and energy is shown in the committee, because I could see a lot of activities happening. And probably next few months, you will see more outcomes of what has been kind of being discussed, and we are kind of taking it forward for SIRC, actually.
Thank you, sir.
So getting into today's topic, technology, which are the tax audit, where every year we find difficulty in trying to conclude things because the things don't come and we have to stay organized as far as possible. So there is nothing new which I'm going to tell you today, but I'm only trying to tell you how organized we can be and how we can help do things audit in a better way and also maintain documentation then and there. Because I always tell that many a time the small medium practitioners, they spend a lot of time in doing audit very well, delivering the audit quality. But when it comes to documentation, things are kind of not available in the correct places, or they're not available in correct perspective, or they have to kind of refer to a lot of documentation or recollect a lot of things. So the idea will be today to see that we try to put a lot of things on paper because our memories got a limitation. We might forget when things have to be looked into after 1 or 2 years because there is a peer review which can happen. There are documents which can be sought by other regulators. There is a documents which can be sought by ICAI itself through its tax audit regulatory body actually. Today, we like a quality review board. We have a tax audit quality review board also, which overlooks a lot of audits. So it is better we keep things intact. And today the idea of the session will be the basic scope of the session will be to see that those kinds of things are being put to ease actually. So I'll straight away share my screen. Are you able to see this notepad which has got us one link actually? Is it visible on the screen? Not yet. Okay. Is it fine now?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So the link for you to get the resource files is bit.ly/44ab, and it is not CD, it is DC actually. So it is 44ab DC and in all small letters. This is case sensitive. So I want everybody to confirm that by clicking this link, you are able to get a link of the Google Drive where you will be able to see all the files. You can give control, if you are using a laptop, you can give Control A, right click and download all the files, which will get downloaded as one zip file actually. So that there are certain things which you can do then and there. And friends, you can chat through the question and answer or the chat box which is available. If 1 or 2 people can confirm whether this link is working fine. Silva, we have enabled chat or, yeah, I got the chat. Yes, working fine, sir. Fine. Thank you. So I know online sessions have got its limitations where we cannot interact that easily as we do in a physical session, but there are a lot of advantages also. So we'll try to balance the both, and friends, see that you are actively putting in comments so that I know that I'm not alone and I'm able to kind of take things forward. So these are the files which are being put in the Google Drive actually. So can somebody tell me, before we start the audit, what is it we generally look for? What is the first initial thing which we require before we commence the audit? What is it we ask the client to get us? Okay, yes says it is engagement letter, something before that. Your engagement comes after something. Appointment letter, perfect. So it is the appointment letter which is understanding of business. Yes, in fact, there is a standards on auditing which says that you have to understand the business when you do the audit. So the documentation is more important. I'm not telling that we don't do it, but generally we kind of take it lightly that no, I'll do it later. ensure that those checklist is being prepared or kept actually, so they don't miss out anything. So the first and foremost things is the appointment letter and the engagement letter. If you prepare it in a Word file also, it will not take more than 10 minutes. But then we are surrounded by so much urgency and the number of cases that it becomes difficult for us to. I don't know why the Excel is not opening. 1 second. Okay, this file is opening. Why is the other one not opening? So I will go to the. Friends, all these files which are put it in the drive, you can edit it and customize it the way you want actually. Yeah. So I've given a small template where you just have to key in the information of the auditor and the auditee and just give the relevant dates, that what is the date of the appointment, the date of engagement, and the audit for which the year ending you are doing the audit. Say I will change the name here. CA Rekha. Like assuming you are a partner, I'll give partner. And you can give your details of the firm actually. The idea is that wherever you have to do repetitive things, you can create these templates actually, which will help you to do things at ease. Now, if you see, my appointment letter is ready. And if there is a letterhead available, I can delete the the auditee details. So the appointment letter, which needs to be given, is ready in a flash actually. If the person has come to us because he's offering less than 8% or 6%, even that letter is ready. So you just need to basically take a printout of the same. And parallelly, the engagement letter is also ready. In the engagement letter, only thing is, initial days I used to quote the fees, that the assignment fees will be so and so. But later I realized that there may be occasions where we need to quote a higher fees because the work which involved would have actually increased, because there is no way that the work would have got reduced actually. So it is better that you tell that it will be at the prices which are mutually agreed upon. But having said that, where we feel that it is better to get the assessee committed, please quote the fees here itself, so that tomorrow there is no trouble where we deal with the assessee actually. So by preparing a small sheet, by filling in the basic information, you are able to generate your appointment letters and engagement letters. And friends, this will not take more than 2 minutes if you ask me. Only thing is you have to just key in the information. You'll be able to get all the information at one go. In fact, the engagement letter will act like a letterhead, and you just need to put your signature and later take the signature of the auditee also, where they accept the terms and conditions actually. And one more thing I've taken care is, suppose you feel that the audit is done for the preceding year actually. Once you change here, everything will get changed automatically here. Even the due date of 30th September 2021 will appear here. Only thing is, if you feel that because last year the due date was not 30th September, but it was 15th February 2022, you can change it manually also by going inside actually. Friends, clear on this so that I can go to the next template or the next stage. Yes, I get a few yes, so I'll proceed with it. I have given these two same templates in Word also for people who are not comfortable in Excel and who still wants to do it. You can pull out this information in Word also. The next is getting the bank confirmation. After Satyam scam, the bank confirmation has also become more relevant because there are possibilities that things could not have been right actually. So here there is another template where you again have to key in the basic information, and you will see that the client introduction, the confirmation letter, which we have to give the covering letter, and the bank confirmation is also ready in a flash actually. Now here there are two schools of thoughts. When it comes to confirmation of the balance, one school of thought says that, sir, don't write the balance, let the bank alone fill. Another school of thought says, sir, why I should take a chance? I will write the balance itself. Let it kind of be getting confirmed from the branch. Whatever be it, the idea is to tell you that where you need to key in the information, you can use it, and where you want to get the amount also in words, it is actually possible in Excel. How is it possible? We need to use something known as adding. Now suppose I'm pulling the balances from the details, which is here. Fine. Now I want the rupees in words. Generally what we do is we write this using the text. 1 second. So what we do is generally we write manually telling rupees 53,000 so and so. Is Excel having any feature where I can get this automated? Can somebody confirm if they have used this rupees in words wherever it is required, so that you don't have to type it actually? Or Excel does not have that feature? I will require few responses in chat. Excel, as I forgot. No, ma'am, Excel does not have actually. Excel does not have the rupees in conversion of these rupees in words. So what you have to do is, there are some add-ins which people have created. You don't have to know the programming, but if you know, it's well and good. Excel generally picks things from Visual Basics, VBA. So what I can do is, in this case, I've actually given one add-in. If you see the Google Drive, there is a 2A DC add-in actually. I will copy this and paste it in my desktop. Now you tell me whether it is advisable to paste this in a desktop or somewhere else, and why. The choice is you can copy it anywhere, but is it advisable to copy it elsewhere, or it is better you copy it in desktop itself? Copy it elsewhere. Can Amit tell me why you advise? And in fact, the answer is right. It is advisable that we copy it elsewhere. Can somebody tell me why it should be copied elsewhere? Okay, the reason why we should copy it elsewhere is because many a time we may clear the desktop or remove these files and put it in some other place. The moment you change the location of this add-in file, the function will not work. So it is always advisable we copy it in a place where we don't do much of altering of the file. So what I will do is, I'll copy this file, Control C, go to my computer, go to C colon, go to program files, and there is a folder Microsoft Office, or I will go to Office 15 here and say Control V. Now I have copied this file. I'll copy the URL, I mean the link actually, Control C, then go to the Excel. In Excel, under File, there is a last item known as Options. Once you click this, it will open one dialog box of Excel options. And in this, if you see the last but one, there is one add-ins button actually. You click that add-ins button. This will give me one option in the last end, Manage Excel add-ins, Go. I just have to click this Go. And then in the add-ins dialog box which opens, I click Browse and then select that file which I have copied, Control V. I have copied in C colon program files, Microsoft Office 15. I can do it manually also. I can go to desktop. Sorry, I have to go to this, my computer or this PC. This PC, C colon, program files, Microsoft Office 15. In this, I select this file. Now it says it already exists. We want to replace it, yes. And once those files are selected, I have to say OK. Now what has happened? My Excel sheet has embedded this program in itself so that I can use this add-in wherever I want. Now what I will do, I will give a command known as equal to spell number. This spell number will work only if this add-in has got embedded, otherwise it will not work. So spell number, I click the balance link and just give enter. You will see that the figures rupees 53,500 only has come. If I change it to some other figure, automatically things will get changed. So things become easy where I don't have to kind of do it manually, where I require things which are being done repetitively. I'll repeat this again for everybody's benefit. How you have to do it is go to File, Options, Add-ins. In that last line, Manage Add-ins, click Go. Ensure those add-ins are getting selected, or you give Browse and select those files where you have copied this add-in. You want it from the desktop itself, fine. You select this and say OK. By doing that, you would have enabled those add-in and just give OK. So friends who have tried this can confirm whether this add-in is working fine or is there any issues. Or if you are getting any errors specifically, you can let me know through the chat box. I'll be able to guide you as to how to ensure that it works for you. Sir, what is the command, please? I am not, okay, command is spell number. Okay, I will just typing without equal to, this is the one. Can you please share your files again? Okay, I'll put it in the chat box. bit.ly/44abdc. Resources link is okay. Sorry, I have to give all participants. Yeah, for those who have joined late or who have not able to get the link, I have just put it in the chat box. You can download all the files which are there and you can start working it live. So the moment I say equal to spell number, open bracket, select the cell which has got the figures, I will get the result. So it is just not in this place, wherever you feel In fact, in my office, I use it for check printing, where we don't type things. I mean, we don't write things in the check. We don't want any mistakes, so it is kind of feeded in an Excel sheet that is taken. In fact, I recall Tally also has a check printing facility actually, where everything is getting automatically taken care. So we proceed with the next thing. I assume there are no queries so far. People, if there is anything, I don't mind covering less, but I want you to be benefited of whatever we are covering actually. Okay, no, nothing in chat box. I assume there is nothing. I'll proceed with the next one is the Form 3CD. Unable to get the link. Can you just check in the chat box, Arun Balaji? I've just sent it again, or I will send it to you separately as well. Yeah. I don't know, today some problem with the files which is not opening. I will download it again and open if it is not working. I don't know why. Maybe some Zoom feature is. I tried copying, not working. See, you select that files and right click and say download. I'll do it here and show it to you. You go to your browser, click this. You give a right click, give Control A, which will select all the files. Then give right click and say download. No, you don't even have to use the slash. You can straight away type this also, bit.ly/44abdc. You copy this and put it in the browser, it will work. But if you want the exact one, I can send you that as well. I'll put it in the chat box for everybody's benefit with the HTTPS link for those who are not getting it. So one of the file which is not working, I'll download it again, which is this file. Where I just want to download one file, I can go to that file, say right click and say download. So this is open this file. Now this is a small, this is the format of the Form 3CD actually, where I have given a lot of disclaimers wherever it's there. You can customize it depending on your comfort. Only two things which is not embedded is this 30C, it would have told it is in abeyance, which is not so actually. Clause 30C, if you refer this file, maybe I'll change it as soon as the session is over today, which is actually applicable. Yeah, it is blank actually. Here this has to be filled. And the attempt has been even made to give a small checklist which is prescribed by ICAI. Of course, I felt a lot of things are not required here. So you can modify it as per your comfort. In fact, there's one more checklist which I have prepared, which is not final, which I'll be uploading it in a day or two actually. So we'll start with simple things when we try to fill this 3CD. But before we go, I wanted to touch upon 3-4 things actually. Still not able to open. You can try some other browser, Kawaseri Ramachandran. It will work actually. I'm putting it again and sending it for everybody's benefit again. Either you copy it as it is, it will work, or you type it properly. Okay, see, one thing you have to understand, the moment it comes to tax audit, we are telling it is the report has to be true and correct. So when the moment it is true and correct, there is no scope for ambiguity. We have to the possible extent, give all the figures and wherever possible, quantify it. But having said this, there are certain places where we end up giving disclaimers. Now, technically, there is a contradiction where you want to give all the information, but then there are certain places where our hands are tied or we cannot do it. The best example is to give a comment that whether the check which were issued were account pay check or not. Now, we are not in the possession of the checks at all. How can we even find whether an account pay check was used or not wherever used? So in those places, we have to kind of only give disclaimers. But now having given disclaimers, how do you put it in the income tax form 3CD? Form 3CD is limiting me to give my comments. So what I do in my case, which you can use it for your cases, we attach the balance sheet, we attach the P&L. There is one more option known as other reports. So what you can do is there are two choices you can do. One, put all the disclaimers in one place, upload that file, so that you are able to tell to the assessing officer, telling that boss, there are certain places where I'm quoting my limitations. Because if you don't put that, technically you get committed to whatever is being checked and you are telling that it has been checked actually. So what I can do is I can put all the disclaimers in one place and upload it in other reports. But what I do in my office is I generally put this 3CD itself as an annexure so that I know that in relevant place what I have put actually. But now to do that, you cannot, there is no scope for mistakes. You will have to kind of complete it in terms of disclaimers or in kinds of disclosure, whichever is required. So in my case, what I do is I fill all the information in Excel and then upload it, telling that I've uploaded it in the other clause also. Second, we have to be very careful, especially for company audits or entities which are subject to other audits. The selection of form is 3CA versus 3CB. I remember that in a lot of company audits, 3CB has been wrongly selected where we generate the urine. And due to that, what has happened, the wrong selection of the form has kind of created a mismatch when we try to fill the urine in the income tax website. So ensure that that has been properly selected in urine so that tomorrow there is no mismatch when we try to update the urine in the income tax website. And even in the urine, when we select the information, ensure that considerable time is spent and we don't hurriedly spend wrong things actually. And then the clauses in form 3CD, the clause in the form 3CD, in fact, it is not the clause. If you see the clause, this is the clause. Indicate the relevant clause of section 43AB under which the audit has to be conducted. Ensure that you properly fill the clause. There are 5 clauses, A, B, C, D, E. The A and B is for the business or the profession. C is for the one which you are subject to audit. The one which are D and E, these are the ones which talks about the 44 AD and the 44 A. Now ensure that you properly select it, because the income tax, the audits which we do, there is a limit on the number of audits we can do. Can somebody tell me what is the limit on the number of audits which a chartered accountant can do? If I can get some answers in chat. 60. So now, does the number 60 get covered for all the audits, or there are some audits which does not get covered? Okay, I got one answer right, telling that 60 excluding cases under section 44 ABE. In fact, 44 ABD also will get excluded. Now the audits which you are doing because somebody has not offered the 8% or the 6% due to section 44 AD and is coming to 44 AB, those audits are getting excluded. So if you are going to select a wrong class, your UDIN is going to give a wrong information, and also the information which in the income tax department has will give a wrong information that you did more than 60. So please ensure that the correct clause is being selected. Now, having said this, what if it's a partnership firm and there are two partners? How much number of audits can one partner sign in that case? There are two partners. You said that there is a limitation of 60 audits per partner. Now, for the moment there are two partners, how much audit can one person sign? Okay, technically it is 60 each, but even then one partner actually can sign 120 tax audits. That means being put together, it should not exceed the number of limits. In this case, it is 120. So that has to be taken care. And then the last important thing is, please ensure that you have a DSE management where you know the expiry date of the DSEs also. I still recall in one of the years, before 2 years, I just found that the date of expiry was 29 September. So we said we can file the return on 29 September. There shouldn't be any trouble. But on 29 September, evening 6 p.m., when I tried to upload the reports along with the DSE, it said DSE expired. Can somebody guess what would have gone wrong? The date was 29 September. It was on that particular day when I wanted to upload the report with the DSE, it said DSE expired. No, the year was fine actually. Time of the day, exactly. Ashwini Kumar has got it right. Because if you have generated the DSE on 11 a.m., the DSE actually expires on 11 a.m. on that day. So please ensure that if the DSE has the last day, there are very many chances that when you're trying to upload, it might not work because you would have generated at some other day of that day, which we cannot find. So ensure that you are completing it before that day, because during last days, if you need to generate a new DSE, it might take 1 or 2 days actually. So ensure that those things are taken care of. We don't get an audit report not filed for want of DSE actually. So apart from the clauses, this also we have to be careful is clause 10A. The clause 10A says the nature of business or profession if a person is carrying more than one business, quote that also. Now I've given a small sheet which captures all the codes and the businesses actually. So now if I were to know what is the code for a retail business, the retail codes have been given in this particular clause, and say I need to select this 9028. Now what you can do using Excel is you just type 9028 and you can see the answer has got changed. Now how it has got changed, I used a X lookup function here. I'll try to show how it is done. And then I will also try to cover the VLOOKUP function. Again, the idea is to tell you how the X lookup and VLOOKUP function works so that you don't have to do things manually. You can always tell, sir, why I should take the pen. I can always copy this, Control C, Control V. Now the idea is it might work for one function, but you cannot do that for every change actually. So it is always advisable that when we are using Excel, we try to give the dynamic links so that it is easy actually. Okay, one more suggestion which CA Mohanraj says that the disclaimers can be given in item 5 of 3CB also. Well taken. Yes, it can be appropriately given there also. But the idea is when there are so many things and every disclaimer might not call for a qualification, I use it the other route actually. Choice is yours and you can definitely do that. Now coming back to our things, how to use a XLOOKUP function equal to XLOOKUP open bracket, select the item which you need to find, which is F21, comma, the lookup array. The lookup array is in this sheet 10A business codes. And I'm telling, please look in the column C is to C, comma. What is the return array? Return array is in the B column. I just have to select B column and close the bracket. Now you can see by using a simple XLOOKUP, I'm able to get the information which I need actually. And only thing is XLOOKUP works only in MS 365. And friends, I will request everybody to go for MS 365 subscription. Of course, the idea is not to promote any product, but it has got a lot of features which is not available in the older Excel. And if you go for MS 365 family pack, the cost is only rupees 6,200, and that too for 6 accounts, which means I get 6 MS 365 license. And it doesn't stop with that. They give you 1 TB of data storage per account, which means into 6. So I will request everybody who is using Excel extensively to subscribe to this MS 365 family pack. In fact, I also learned that if you go to these software vendors who are dealing in computers, it is available at 5,400 also. You don't have to go it online. We'll have to just buy the pack where there'll be the codes will be given and you can redeem it, which is also cheaper. Fine, sir, I don't have MS 365. What do I do? Will I not be able to do it? No, there is no trouble. You can always use the XLOOKUP function. So how to use the XLOOKUP function? Equal to VLOOKUP. Sorry, you can use the XLOOKUP function. Equal to VLOOKUP. I go to the business codes. First, I select the code F21, comma. Can somebody help me? How will I be able to use VLOOKUP? Is asking for the table array. How should I select the table array? I've selected VLOOKUP F21. Now I have to select the table. Can somebody tell me how to use the table? Or whether there is a challenge in selecting this table? Is the subscript? Okay, I'll take the questions later which are beyond what I'm covering. Select the entire area. No, it will not work. Okay, Apurv has got it right. The lookup value should be the first column in the lookup array. So if I select the C range, my D is on this side. The data which I need is on the opposite side. So VLOOKUP will fail if I need to do it. So what I have to do is I'll come out of this, go to the sheet again, select this data in B and copy it in D. So now I'll try to use the VLOOKUP function equal to VLOOKUP open bracket. The lookup value is in F21, comma, go to the sheet, select the code. To select the entire range, I can give shift control down arrow. But the problem with shift control down arrow is because there is a space in between, I'll have to do it multiple times. So what I can do is I can use shift control end, which will help me select the entire range, comma. Now my selection is going to happen, the picking is going to happen in the first column, and the result I want is in the second column. So I will say comma 2, comma 0, because I want the perfect match. I'll give enter. Oh, I got the same result. This was using X lookup, this was using V lookup. What if I want this code in the end, this 9028 also, so that I know which is the code I have picked? I can always use ampersand, open bracket, CODE space colon, sorry, space, double quotes, use the and give this 9028. It will appear like this. If I need a space, after quotes, I can give a space. I'll give another and say close bracket. So where I want to add anything beyond, I can use ampersand, and anything I give within the quotes, within double quotes, will work as it is. Now, having said this, I'll try to cover one more feature in Excel, which we most of the time require it and we kind of get stuck with it. Say this is the address of SIRC of ICAI. ICAI, it is Nungambakkam High Road, Nungambakkam and Chennai. Now it is all appearing in one line. How do I make it appear in 3 lines or 4 lines? Can somebody put in the chat box? Yes, Suvita has got it right. She says you use it using Alt Enter. So what I will do is I'll give a Alt Enter here, Nungambakkam High Road, and Alt Enter here. And after Chennai also, I'll give Alt Enter. I will correct the spelling. So by using Alt Enter, I can get the same data in the same cell, but in different lines actually. Now, I want similarly, or let me put it this way. The data is like this, SIRC of ICAI, Nungambakkam, or say Chennai. Now I want to copy this in this cell and have it in 2 different lines. So I will say equal to H17 and H18. I'm getting like this. How to overcome this? Friends, one more thing. This will work only if the wrap text is on. Ensure that the wrap text is always on. If I remove this, you will see that it will come in one line. So somebody says give double quotes. Double quotes will help me to only give one space actually. Now what I want is SIRC of IC in one line and Chennai in next line using a formula. So how you can do is, there is one function which replicates Alt Enter, which is actually CHAR open bracket 10 close bracket and use AND. Now you will see SIRC of ICAI is coming in one line and ICAI is coming, Chennai is coming in next line. I'm repeating, the function is CHAR open bracket 10 close bracket. That does nothing but it will replicate the Alt Enter in a formula. So now same thing, if I want this code to be in the next line in Excel, I can always go here and say CHAR open bracket 10 close bracket, and now you will see the code has come in the next line. Now I don't need the space actually, because I want it to start perfectly. So by using small functions, you can actually try to get the result the way you want. You don't have to feel handicapped that, I'm not able to get it using the function or formulas actually. So XLOOKUP was easier way to do. Never mind, I can even use it doing the VLOOKUP also. So I can say equal to within double quotes CHAR of 10 and open bracket CODE close bracket. What did I miss? Okay, this should not have come. So now the moment I give wrap text, I will have it appearing in two different lines. So the idea is to tell that wherever you are using functions, formulas, and you want two things to appear in two different lines in the same cell, the function is CHR of open bracket 10. See, because we are using a lot of templates, this comes very handy where I don't have to manually change things, where I can get things automated actually. So rest, our today's session is only on technology, so I'm not getting into the technical side of the Form 3CD, but try to tell you where we could use excellent technology to ease out things actually. Now the comparative analysis. If you have prepared the financials, you just first have to give the proper links actually. Having given the links, I'll delete this. You can give a simple function of for a comparison. Though your Form 3CD wants it in some way, but you can use it for your internal analysis. So equal to my current turnover minus the previous year turnover divided by the previous year turnover. Can somebody tell me whether this will work fine or there are going to be issues when I use this formula? Okay, bracket. So you should remember the BODMAS rule. If I do this, what will happen is this will get calculated first, which is going to be 1, and then my turnover is going to be just reduced by mere 1. So what I have to do is I have to use the bracket, open bracket here, and then close bracket here. So drag it where I don't want the difference, I can. Now, if you see, there are some arrows which have come. How they have come? Go to home, conditional formatting, and say icon sets arrows. So by doing that, what happens? You can actually make a judgment of where things have gone upward or downward, so that it will help you to prepare your audit program accordingly. Like unsecured loans, there has been a huge reduction. So ensure that why that has happened, or what is it? What are the reasons that this has happened? The reason why I'm telling is there are chances that sometimes this column may get changed. I still recall in one of the cases where the secured loans were put in unsecured loans, and that case got picked under scrutiny. So ensure that by filling information in the wrong way, there should not be any trouble for the assessee or things do not get picked wrongly also. And the cash or the capital can help you make a decent understanding as to whether anything has got mixed or not. Now, suppose this case, if you see, it has got 15 lakhs of last year capital, and this year this 18.55 lakhs. So there is a reasonable 3 lakhs only addition, and the net profit was 10 lakhs, no problem. Now, assuming that the closing capital was say 30 lakhs. Now, your closing capital was 15 lakhs and there was only a 10 lakhs profit, but there is a increase in capital to the tune of 15 lakhs, which means there is another 5 lakhs which have come through the capital account, which may be a gift or which may be a income which is exempt. So it will help you to kind of plan your audit in a better way so that you do not miss out the important part actually. And you can always change the parameter telling that beyond this percentage, I want the arrow to change. It is very much possible actually. And I have tried to give the formula here itself so that whatever you change here, automatically the 3CD will get changed. Now, if you are using it in your system, you will have to probably change this link of the source file actually. So in this case, I can remove this so that it picks from this file and not the other file. I've just removed the wrong link which has been picked actually. Now I got it. Probably I'll try to upload the one without this link so that it is easy for you to change it. So here I don't even have to manually type or do things. Of course, there are a lot of softwares that are taken care, but in my case, I told you, we prepare things in Excel so that I want all information at one go. So that tomorrow, even if there is a mistake, I can tell that this was the one I was trying to upload it actually. Rekha Venkateswamy Reddy says, repeat again, sir. Can you tell me which part you want me to repeat? Analysis of net profit. Okay, I'll go again. Comparative analysis. I've given a very, very simple formula within bracket telling that the current year turnover minus my turnover, the preceding year turnover, divided by the preceding year turnover, which will give me the percentage. I will try to redo it here actually. Equal to open bracket B6 minus C6 close bracket divided by C6, which will give me percentage. I can always go to the ribbon bar and select this percentage and increase the decimal. And then copy it because the link is dynamic. I'll remove the places where I don't want this. After selecting it, go to conditional formatting. There is one option as icon sets and then click the arrows. You will get the arrows of the plus and minuses. And this thing I've embedded in my form 3CD so that this information, whichever I prepare, gets automatically picked there. I don't have to manually key in there actually. So whenever you are doing one work, ensure that where that particular thing is being repetitively required, don't try to redo the exercise, but try to give the formulas or the link so that you do it in one place and all the things are available after that also. Any doubts so far? Because I'm going to cover to the next using Excel functions, how we can do the audits and maintain our working papers. Okay. Now, if you see one of the cases where there was a negligence in reporting of 40A3 and 40AIA violation, and the chartered accountant was awarded punishment of removal of his name from the register of members. It might look little hard that, sir, we are doing an audit, not an investigation. Why should the institute be so hard if the things are, what do you say, where I'm doing it on test basis, let us see. Now, friends, in this case, I went through this case. Institute is being hard only when things have been apparently missed. Probably where things which are very minute and where it has to be kind of looked into. If those things are getting missed, it's fine. But you cannot miss out an elephant in a haystack. You cannot, they don't want you to find a needle in a haystack, but you cannot tell that I missed something which was very apparent. So in the this case which I'm telling, okay, I've got some answer for business owner up to 10. Okay, I'll take those questions in the end, which are not relevant for the technological part. So friends, it is today possible that with technology, we can actually do things in a better way. And institute is coming hard on only those cases where people have not did the audit at all, but have blindly given the reports actually. So it is better that we see that the reports, whatever we prepare, and the documents which are being there are kind of kept as an audit evidence and as working papers. Now, I'll give you the example of 40A3, how we can kind of have the documentation and also see that there is nothing apparent which gets missed actually. So now I have a sample cash book actually of one of the cases. Now in this sample cash book which I have, can somebody tell me what is the problem in this cash book which will hinder to get the report properly? Okay, narration, somebody has got it right. Now, this narration is appearing in another particular line or just below the particular thing, whereas I want this narration to be in the same line of the transaction. Okay, it has opened online. I will close this. Okay, so what I want is I want all this narration to come in the same line of the entry rather than displaying it in the next line. So the considerable time has to be spent on the sanitizing of the data, because once you do that, then your analysis becomes very fast and you can do things whatever you want. So how to bring this narration to the line of the entry? In fact, friends, let me tell you at this stage that there are multiple ways where you can do. There is no one single way. There are multiple ways which you can do, and all the ways are right. So whichever you are comfortable, you can do it actually. So now what I will do, I will say narration. Now for me to sanitize the data, I need to use filter option. But when I use the filter option, I have to be very careful that no data should be merged actually. So here if I see this is merged, the B and C is merged, and this is also merged. And I will try to go to the ends and see if there is anything merged. Okay, there are items which are merged here as well. So what I will do, once which I don't require, I will straight away delete it. So I delete this. Now this is nothing but a total. I'll unmerge And what I will do is I'll keep this copied here to see that there is no trouble in the end when I have sanitized the data. So I'll say Control X, go to the top and copy it here to see whether it is right or not. Control V. To go to the last item, I have to just use Control Shift down arrow. Will take me to the last item. So I will delete to ensure that there are no things beyond the last entry. And here I will unmerge these things. Now when I'm unmerging here, I can see one small space there which does not have any title. Now can somebody tell me it is advisable to leave as it is, or I have to type something compulsorily here? This column B6, is it okay I leave as it is, or I have to compulsorily type for me to analyze or use the data? Of course, I can leave it blank. There is no trouble with that. Okay. Somebody says better to have a title for each column. The reason why we should have a title for each column is tomorrow, if you are going to use pivot, you are going to get stuck. So I will give some wordings here. So I will say type. So now what I will do, I will select the entire range. How to select the entire range? If I use Shift Control down arrow, it is not working. So I have to use Shift Control Enter. It will take me to the last item. I will select this and say filter. Alternatively, I can even use the data and click filter here. This will also work actually. So now having filtered the data, in fact, sorry, for this, the filtering is only required afterwards. I can use the function straight away to get my result. So what I've understood is wherever there is no date, the narration is available. This is a uniform pattern. Wherever the date is not there, the narration is available. So I can tell Excel that, boss, wherever there is no date, please pick this data and give it to me. So I will use a simple if function telling that equal to if open bracket. What is the logical test? The logical test is second line of that entry should be blank. So I will say A8. A8 is blank equal to, how to tell blanks? Just give two double quotes telling that if 8 is equal to blank, comma, you please copy this item which is available in C8, which means if there is no date, please copy it. If it is not there, just say nil and then close the bracket. So I will just double click and you will see that wherever the date was blank, it has picked the item here actually. I can just cross check to see whether it has got properly picked or not. So here you can see if A16 was blank, I wanted the Excel to return C16, otherwise return nil actually. So you can use this simple function, and even if I don't want this nil, I will just give blank here, which will be more replicating what is there in Tally. So now I've got all the narration here. Before I delete this, I should ensure that this data is independent of the original source. So I will give Control C, right click, paste special values. So by doing that, what happened? This no longer has the formula. Now I can remove these things which I don't want. How will I remove the data which I don't want? I'll click this date column and select only the blanks. After having selected the blanks, shift control down arrow, right click, delete row. So stage one, I've given a simple if function and copied the narration. After copying the narration, stage two, I've pasted using special values so that tomorrow there is no problem with the original data getting deleted. And now you can see that the narration itself has come in the data, and my all those blanks have got deleted. Now what I will do, I will say credits number filters greater than 10,000. For 40A3, I need to check all the transactions which are having the value of more than 10,000, which will be the ones where section 40A3 have been violated. So I've got all these transactions, but you will see that majority of the transactions are cash which I've got paid to the bank, which is permitted. So what I will do is I will select this column, just check whether my contra is showing bank account only or not. Contra, Canara Bank, and State Bank of India, no problem. So I will go to this D column again, select all, remove the contra entries because I want all the entries other than contra. So these are the payments where there is a violation of 40A3. Now it may or may not be a violation. Now it is for me to analyze and finish it. Now there is a loan which has got paid by more than 50,000. In fact, it is not 40A3 violation, it is a violation of 269 ST. Sorry, 269T in fact. So rent, there is a violation, they have paid more than 10,000 rupees. Now bonus, this is paid to single person. So definitely this is a violation. Now there have been two entries which are relating to bank. Now this is not a violation, I can remove this. So the audit remarks. Now, by doing this, we have only got the transactions which are apparently violated as to transactions where more than 10,000 has been paid by cash. What if there have been multiple entries on the same day to the same person? So can somebody tell me how? Is it possible to find same day there is a transaction of say 8,000 and 7,000? In my this filtering option, it would not have come. Subtotal for each day, but subtotal only if the entries in continuous ways. Sum ifs, yes, somebody has got it right. You can use it using the function sum ifs. So I'll tell you how to do that. I'll first insert a new worksheet. I'll go to cash book again. So what I will do is now I'll filter all the credit transactions only. So all the credit transactions have come now, and I'll remove the ones which were contra because they were all the bank entries. Of course, I can select all, but I want to reduce the processing load actually. Shift control down arrow, control C. Now what I've did is I've copied all the transactions. Okay, sorry, I got a wrong selection. I should have selected the ones which are not contra. Select all minus contra. Shift control down arrow helps me select all the transactions. Control C, and now I do control V. So I will say cumulative transaction checking, tran checking. So how to do that? First, to do that, I will have to give the, I'll have to use the filtering and then sort this first by particulars. Now what has happened? For the whole year, the transactions have got filtered alphabetically now. Second, what I will do is now I will filter it by date. So my first filter was particulars, where I got the data filtered by ledger name. Now I'm telling it to filter by date. By this, what happens? I have got the transactions of the ledgers date wise. That means on second 4, if there are multiple entries, this will come one after the another actually. So after filtering, now what I have to do? I have to just use the function known as SUMIFS equal to SUMIFS open bracket is asking the sum range. My sum range is in G is to G, comma. Is asking for the criteria range for the first test actually, because we are going to use multiple SUMIF. So now the first criteria range is A. In A, what is the criteria? The criteria is just check the date if there is a change or not, comma. Similarly, for the second condition, criteria range, my criteria range is C. In C is to see what I need to check whether there is a change in the particulars. And now close the bracket. Now you will see that by doing this, I have got the cumulative total of the expenditure done on the same day where there have been multiple entries. Now I'll remove the filter, redo the filter, and say transactions which are more than 10,000. Now the yellow shades are the one which we found normally. Now there are extra transactions which have got picked up where on particular one day for that ledger value, the value is more than 10,000. Now here we can remove staff salary because we feel that staff salary, there is none of the value which has got exceeded 10,000. I will go here, select staff salary, and let me see if any staff salary is there for more than 10,000 or not. So nothing is there. So what I will do now, cumulative number filters greater than 10,000 and remove the staff salary because I feel there is no trouble with staff salary. And I'll also remove State Bank of India, which has got picked here. So now I can analyze, okay, there is bonus also. Bonus also is less than 10,000. So I'll remove the bonus also. So now you can see there are additional transactions which have cropped up. Of course, the drawings I can ignore. Now, if you see this Ashwatthama food product, you would have only picked 15,000 rupees here. Now, because you did this exercise, you are able to know that actually there is a 21,620 which got paid on the same day. So the idea is to tell the assessees that if they don't follow this 40A3, we'll have to disallow the expenditure, and this will also help them educate that in future they cannot do these kind of transactions, which is going to make them pay more income tax because the item will get disallowed actually. In fact, somebody says subtotal. Yes, after filtering, you can use subtotal also and do it, but subtotal will contain all the summary. It will not help me to filter things at ease actually. So as I told you, there is no one way where you can do things. You can use the multiple way of doing things. Any doubts so far? Because I'll be going to the next calculation of TDS on freight. Can you please repeat the use of formula? Okay. There are two formulas I use. The first formula I used was the sum ifs. Okay, we use the sum ifs here actually. Yes. I'll zoom the screen. 1 second. So this is a function we have used. Equal to sum ifs, open bracket, select the sum range which you want, which is G is to G here, comma. It is asking for the range where you need to find what. So my first range is date, and then I say A. In fact, it is filtered one A33. I'll go to the first one. So I say wherever there is a change in date, you please see that that is not being considered. But if there is date is same and the particulars are same, I have to total it. Second criteria is particulars, where it will check for the consecutiveness. If there is change, it will pick. If there is no change, it will not pick. So for benefit of everybody, I will probably copy this formula itself and put it in the chat box. In fact, there is a worked file also available in the Google Drive, which I have shared, which also can be looked into. So here I'm able to use two if functions using the function sum ifs and able to arrive at the result. So the idea is to tell you whatever you think you want the result, actually it is possible in Excel. Only thing is there are certain things available with one function, certain times you have to do it with multiple functions actually. Now here the same sum if function, without sum ifs, I can actually do two if function and then do the filtering, which would have taken a lot of time. But thanks to these new age tools in Excel, which will help you to do things at ease. Now we'll go to the next one is the freight. Now I have to calculate I have to pick the number of parties for whom TDS is applicable. How to do that? G is to G would select the whole column G. Yes, the G is to G will pull the whole G because it is going to only pick the data which are there actually. When we select G is to G, we tell that you have to sum up the picked ones which are available in column G. It will not pick the entire column. It will filter based on your parameters, and wherever there is a matching of parameter, it will add, it will sum the things actually. So Gopal Sami, I think I made it clear. I'll just repeat it again. See, when you tell some G is to G here, it does not add the entire G. Where there is a matching of these two conditions, 1 and 2, only then the G will get added. So only those respective things get added and not the entire column actually. Fine, I'll proceed with the next freight, where we need to pick transactions where TDS is applicable. Now, what is the condition for TDS? TDS is applicable where per transaction is more than 30,000 or all transactions are exceeding 1 lakh. Of course, if they give a declaration, the TDS need not be deducted. But for us, we need to identify these transactions so that we can tell our assessee that boss, you either need to give a declaration, get the declaration, or you have to deduct the TDS. So how do we do that? First is very, very simple. I will do the unmerge of things which will create trouble, I feel. Go to the end, remove the ones which I don't want. So now what I will do is filter and say number filters greater than 30,000. So now these are the transactions which have got picked, which are more than 30,000. Or I don't even have to worry about the dates and other things. No, I know for these parties, I have to seek the declaration form or get the TDS deducted. Now, how to remove duplicates and only ensure that I have the unique values? Can somebody put in the chat box? Now here there are 121 items. Perfect. Somebody says use the data validation duplicate. Somebody is giving me the shortcut Alt A M, which is nothing but you go to data. In data, there is one known as remove duplicates. You click that and just say OK. You will see that all the unique items have come. I'll do one thing. I'll put it here so my original data is not lost. So remove duplicates. OK. In this TDS may not be applicable, so I'll remove that. So now I know that there are 17 parties where I need to check whether TDS has been deducted or declaration has to be got. Now there is one more function which Manoj has rightly said, is that you can use the unique formula, which is available only in MS 365. That is the reason I'm telling that if you are going for the latest versions, you'll be benefited by using the new age tools. So now equal to unique, open bracket, select from A2 to the end and close the bracket. You will see that the same result, I was able to get it in one stroke. I didn't even have to drag things. Of course, removing the TDS, there will be 16 entries. No, how come? Okay, I missed one here. So this may be ignored. So if you recall, using unique, you are able to do things at a better pace. Now we will do one thing. We will try to pick all the items which are beyond 1 lakh also for the year. How to do that? We'll use the pivot. In fact, as I told you, there are multiple ways, but I find pivot is easier to do to get the results. So what I will say now is, pivot, go to insert, pivot table, select the range, don't want this. So I've selected the range. So what do I do now is pick the ones I want. So I want the particulars, which has the name of the people. And now I need the cumulative total of them. So that total of the debit. So I'm able to get the total of all the parties, which I will copy it so that my original data is not disturbed. Pay special values. Now what I will do is I'll use the filtering option and pick the ones which are more than 1 lakh. So I'm able to identify these many people. I'll remove this TDS I don't want. So Control C. I will go to the original sheet where we have did the workings. And here I'll give Control V. So now, if you see, I got one additional party. Did I? Let me just recheck. I recall there was one party which will come additionally. Control C. Pay special values. No, okay, I need not filter. I will say largest to smallest. This more than 1 lakh. Control C. Control V. I think in this case there is nothing new which has come. So if there were additional parties apart from this, it would have picked. But I recall there was one party which used to come additionally. I don't know where things have gone wrong. There are only 17 here and here also there is 17. Okay. I have not extended my range. That is the problem. So end of the day, garbage in, garbage out. I'll increase the range and now you will see one additional party. Yes, I was surprised that. So beyond 30,000, this was the range, and beyond 1 lakh when I checked, I was able to find one more person. So using these tools, it is easy for you to get your desired results actually. So what I did was I first filtered it by 30,000, put the data. Second, I used pivot to arrive at the cumulative figure of particular all the transporters. And then I picked the one which are above 1 lakh. And then I added to my original data. And then using a simple unique function, I was able to get all the results. And I was able to get that additional entry also. One of the transporter where the individual transactions were less than 30,000, but the overall exceeded 1 lakh actually. So then I've given a small template on this vouching where you can keep a record of your the transactions which are there as working papers. Of course, with GST, you will have to do more analysis, because it is not just the books versus GST return, it is books versus 1 versus 3B. Also, we have to give our remarks. I've given a small template on this noting of these audit queries. And then this depreciation. See, wherever there are new things, there are possibilities we might miss out on things. How to overcome that? Capture things then and there. Now, the smallest thing from last year, if there is a purchase of fixed assets, which is more than rupees 10,000, you will have to disallow the depreciation for those. So you can add a small column to see that those things doesn't get missed actually when you're preparing the chart under depreciation actually. In fact, one more suggestion which I got from one of the participants is, sir, if you write here, there are chances that the asset may get excluded from the fixed asset itself. So what is suggested was you can write the fixed asset purchased by paying more than 10K in cash. And you can write a separate item here, so that what happens, the item does not get excluded in the fixed asset, and at the same time, you wrongly do not calculate the depreciation also. Then for payment to relatives, all the relations which get covered are given, so that it can be documented as to what are the ones which can have to be reported under clause 23. Same thing with clause 43B, sorry, section 43B, which gets covered in clause 26, where you can write the GST, the TDS payable, whether they have all got paid on time or not. Because if they do not get paid, you will have to report it here and also disallow it in your computation. I have also given one sample management representation, which also can be embedded in the Excel file itself. But to make the understanding easier, I've given it separately, where we need to get the confirmations from the assessee, so that tomorrow we know that we have depended on the information which they have given us. There are some things which you cannot do without management representation, especially your bank balance. What if the assessee fails to disclose a bank account? You will never know unless there are some transactions between those bank accounts. Related party. As an auditor, we will never be able to know what the related parties, who the related parties are. So likewise, it is better you get a confirmation which can be tomorrow used to help in just in case if tomorrow there is a regulatory authority which tells that you have not did your audit properly. And then most of the time we have seen that the digital signature is held by us, and tomorrow if anything goes wrong, or tomorrow it is told that you have not exercised due diligence, or the assessee says, sir, DS is used by the auditor, I don't know. It is better we try to get the authorization. So here also I've given a small template where we fill the basic information, and then your DSE authorization, your tax audit report upload, and the ITR upload authorization is actually ready. So the moment we key in the information, say CA Suresh, and is a proprietor, and the name of the concern. So you fill in all the information of the chartered accountant and the assessee. You will see that automatically this authorization for obtaining DSE, authorization for tax audit report, and authorization for ITR upload is ready actually. In fact, the format which I have given is the ones which are prescribed by the ICAI and not my own. But of course, I have customized a little to see that things are getting automated in an easier way actually. And then one more thing which we should not forget is the applicability of the accounting standards. It is generally thought that accounting standards are applicable only for the company's cases and not for tax audit cases. Friends, let me tell you that for entities, they have been divided into 4 levels: level 1, level 2, 3, and 4. And the level 4 are the ones where anything that does not get covered under the first 3 levels get covered here. And there are 16 accounting standards which are actually applicable for any assessee. So there is minimum 16 standards which gets applicable, which I've shared it in green, and I've given it in this the Google Drive also, which is applicable. And for you to know, sir, what are the points I should check on the accounting standards, I've given a small template also in other formats as accounting standards checklist. Again, this is the one which is prescribed by the ICAI, which you can use it. Like whichever accounting standard you want to know, you can use this checklist, which will help you to answer the queries. Of course, for most of the smaller assets, the points which are given may not be applicable, but whether applicable or not, it is better you go through the checklist so that you do not miss out on any of the important parameters. And then the last one is the clause 44. Everybody is having doubts. Sir, what should I do? I have tried to given a small Word file, of course not this. My screen is acting haphazardly. In fact, I've taken this from exposure draft. Of course, the new guidance note also tells the same, that the assessee is not in a position to give the details, an appropriate disclosure may be there. And I personally feel whatever figures we may give may not be relevant. In fact, even here, this may not be relevant. It may not be right actually. So it is better we give disclaimers. The reason why I'm telling that we cannot give the proper figures is, see, it is possible for us to arrive at the total amount of expenditure incurred during the year, which we can pull from the profit and the trading P&L account, when we can exclude the items like opening stock, GP, NP, and the depreciation. But when it comes to total amount of expenditure incurred during the year, where I have to give whether they are registered or unregistered, there are possibilities that the way I have accounted, the way the assessee has accounted, it might not be possible for me to give the full picture, because wherever there are items which are under block credit, I would not have even claimed GST. I would not have even put the item for putting GST. I would have given the consolidated figure. The smallest example is food bills. Food bills, the ITC, the GST is not eligible for me. Say it is 1,000 rupees plus GST. I would not have given 1,000 plus GST. I would have straight away given 1,180, which will make it appear as if it is done from an unregistered dealer, whereas the person is actually registered. So for which I have given some small disclaimers telling that we are not in a position to give the information. In fact, where you want to give a full disclaimer, I have given this suggested disclaimers. But now, having said that, the idea is not to give disclaimers blindly, but if we are able to extract the information, which actually is very much possible in Tally. If you go to Tally, you open the ITC ledger, you can actually use the columnar format and get the information separately. So where the assessee is maintaining such information, it is possible for you to fill this information. But where you do the audit and you find that the information is not there, please give a disclaimer or give the information whatever is available, and give a note in your disclaimer telling that the figures may not be accurate because there are some items which might get missed due to the treatment in your accounting software. So this can be used for you to complete the audits with ease. And then one more important which I request you not to miss is the ICAI KYC norms. The institute wants records to be maintained of the client, telling know your client, and it is mandatory from 1st January 2017. And the information is simple. We all will be maintaining it, but only thing is it might not be available in one particular place. So ensure that those things are being maintained by us, so that tomorrow when there is questions being asked about it, we are able to produce it actually. And then I'm also sharing the basic things on tax audit about the FAQs, which was published in one of the site, which will come very handy for you to understand things as to how we have to kind of do the audit and maintain the records as well. And also I've given the guidance note on tax audit, which can be used for your ready reference wherever you are having any doubt on the clauses actually. In fact, one more thing on clause 44 is the capital expenditure also has to be reported, because the word expenditure includes capital expenditure also, which is again given in our guidance note as well. So friends, in these 2 hours, the idea was to only cover the basic concepts where you can create your own templates. In fact, I did one more addition. I have given all these 3 templates which I've used in one file as well. So you try to fill this information here. You will get your appointment letter, your bank confirmations, your DSC authorization, TA authorization, and the income tax return authorization at one place. Sorry. All these things will be available in one place. And this ICAI KYC norms are not yet filled. Probably in a day or 2, I will try to upload this file with this information so that you can have the record maintained at one place itself actually. So friends, only these things from my side. If you have any queries on what I have covered, you can put in the chat box so that I can cover if something which I missed or you feel you have not understood anything.
Yes, sir. So we'll see chat box also.
Yeah, I think I missed few things which were general, so I can pick that actually. Yeah, I think this we already covered. Disclaimers can be given in item 5 of 3CB or item 3 of 3CA. So for everybody's benefit, I'll put that in the chat box as well. So thanks to Mohan who has given this suggestion, and for business up to 10 crores and audited under proviso to clause A, even then we have to select 44 ABA. For business turnover up to 10 crores and audited under proviso to clause A. I didn't get the query actually. Suvita, you have put some query on this 10 crore turnover. If you can clarify, I'll be able to tell this. For this MS 365 subscription, it is only for 1 year. It is an annual subscription which you have to renew it every year. It is not lifetime. So that has to be taken care. Yeah, I think other queries I've all covered then and there.
That is the case. In Q&A, that's also covered, it seems, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Q&A I've missed. Okay, Q&A.
One question is that advanced feature, is it worth investing in? Does it require recurring
No,
understanding?
you should, in fact, today I have not covered the lot of new features which are there in MS 365. Like there is a filter function, there is a transpose function. So my suggestion will be to definitely go for MS 365. It is more than the worth of money actually. So please, you should go for it, and you will see that it has a lot of advantages, and it comes with 6 licenses. So you don't need to use the pirated versions actually. So please go ahead.
Hope we are done with the session.
Yeah.
So, Rekha ma'am couldn't able to join at the end, sir. On behalf
Yeah.
of one from SIRC office, whereas Chairman Secretary in the absence, thank you so much for your time spent here on knowledge dissemination. We look forward to have you in physical session whenever time permits in SIRC.
So definitely, thank you all. If there are any further queries which you feel I should have covered or I need to cover, you can feel free to send an email to me. I'm just sharing my email, though it is there in the link as well. You feel free to get in touch with me. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, sir.